Welcome to Centra Scripts. I am Cami Smith, your host, and today I'm joined by a Centra nurse, and her name is Lauren Wade. And we are so excited that she's here with us today because she has a story that she gets to share about an experience she had here in our community. And I don't want to give too much away because this really is a story about who Lauren is, but also just about the kind of caregivers that we do have here at Centra. And so, introducing Lauren Wade, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a nurse,
Yes.
but what is your role here at Centra?
So I play many roles. I'm the manager of cardiac pulmonary rehab, bariatrics, and endocrinology. So I have 8 locations to manage and about 50 plus staff members to corral at times.
Wow. So you have a busy day
Yes.
on any given day.
Yes.
A lot going on. And you're a nurse, but are you bedside? Have you ever been bedside?
I was bedside years ago. My daughter's now 9, so I've been out of bedside for about 9 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and so I'm now the manager. But I do jump in with my staff in a heartbeat, and anytime they need me, I will put my scrubs on and be at the room again or whatever they call me to do.
Okay. So how did you get into nursing?
So many years ago when I was in high school, I went on a missions trip to help people, and I fell in love with just helping anyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what's wrong with you, I love just to provide a care, a hand, a touch, a soft, gentle word to them.
Yeah.
So then when I came home from that mission trip, I really was like, maybe nursing is for me.
Yeah.
Plus, my grandmother never became a nurse but took care of everybody. So we got to share stories.
It was in your blood.
It was in the blood already, yes. So we shared stories at lunchtime together. I'd be in nursing school, get out, and go have lunch with her. And she loved the stories, and it's really amazing. She died 3 days after I graduated nursing school.
Oh, wow.
I got to go. She couldn't come to graduation, of course, but I wore my cap and gown to her house. And right before she kind of went into her little coma. And so it's a very good way to end my nursing school to know that she could see me do that.
That is so special, and what a great connection, too. So you've been a nurse. You said you've been out of bedside for 9 years. How long have you been a nurse?
For over 16 years.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. So where were you bedside?
Med-surg. Actually, before they even built the tower at Lynchburg General, I worked on 2 North Surgical.
Okay.
Worked there for some time, did a home health round, but I really love bedside nursing. I actually enjoy med-surg. Many people are like, that's not for me, but that is where my heart is.
Yeah.
And then I got to manage, but I had a family, so they came first, and so I got out of bedside.
Okay. So what was your favorite thing about stepping into nursing, especially stepping into bedside? And I don't want to say an extreme environment, but a more intense environment.
It can range. There's a lot of things. A lot of times it's just when someone says thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for even helping me walk to the bathroom, walk down the hall, or change a dressing on them.
Yeah.
Just a simple thank you really fills my heart.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of thank yous?
I do.
Good.
Yes. Actually, my job today, I have a lot more thank yous. Our patients are very happy usually. So.
Yes. Yes. So tell me a little bit about what you do now. So you're a manager, but day in and day out, what type of patient interaction do you have?
Depends on the clinic I'm at. So cardiopulmonary rehab, cardiac survivors, so heart attacks, surgeries, or pulmonary events. They come in, they actually exercise. So my second love between nursing is actually exercise. So this is a really great place for me, and I get to help them go through different routines, learn about nutrition, healthy lifestyles. And then at bariatrics, again, it's more of that nutrition, getting them back to healthier ways of doing things. And endocrinology, you just have a whole slew of patients that come in. So it just varies, but I get to do a lot of things with a lot of different people daily.
Yeah. I might have to get with you afterwards about the whole exercise nutrition.
Okay, I go at 5 a.m.
Very intriguing. Yes. Well, especially with a family, you have to get up early and kind of get that stuff in on the front end. And I love that you're taking that love and passion you have in your own life and you're pouring that into your patients.
Yes.
So not only do you get to do what you love with nursing, but this really intersects with you in a different way with exercise and just a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, it is. It's actually work-life balance, and I try to make sure all my staff have that too.
Yeah, that is so important. So let's talk a little bit about your experience a few weeks ago. So just walk us through what happened at Sheetz when you encountered a woman who was in labor and you helped deliver that baby.
So we have to start the whole day. So beginning of the day, because they're very small little moments. I'm a firm believer God is there daily in my life. And that day, he was there big time, but leading up to it, he was there. So
Yeah.
like we talked about, I'm very busy. I actually got off early that day, surprisingly early, and enough to run errands
Nice.
on my own. So that's
Which
even
is
a
a very
win.
big deal as a mom. Okay.
So that's a good win. And so my parents had my daughter, and they had been actually at my grandparents' house at the lake. And so the
Okay.
plan was to meet at Sheetz around 5:30.
Okay.
So my parents called me. They're running late. And I'm like, get a little irritated because now I'm ready to go home. I've been
done with the errands.
done for the day. I want to go to my house and see my house. So I go and I was like, no problem. I'll go and run some more errands. So then I get to pick up my dog. She goes to doggy daycare because I do work long hours. So did my husband. When I arrive, I'm the last one to get my dog. I'm getting now a little bit more irritated sitting there. Everyone else's dog is running around, and I'm like, I'd like to go home. Again, my parents are like, we're not left. We haven't left yet. And I'm like, seriously, this is? So now looking back, those are those moments God was leading me to the exact big event.
Yeah.
He was slowing me down.
So you were getting, your timeline was getting prolonged.
Yes.
And prolonged.
Yes.
And prolonged.
And unfortunately, I wanted to override his doings, but he is always in control. And so I arrived there at Sheetz. And so my dog is crazy. Jumping. There are boxes in my car. I was helping a friend move, and I had boxes in the car, and I am just fed up. And so I do that put my head down, and I see a car pull up beside me. And again, I look over, and they look a little in distress. So my first thought is, oh, she's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Again, I am doing this number. And then finally I was like, okay, something's not right. So I kindly opened the door, and whenever I see people in distress in the community or even in the hospital, I'm always like, hi, my name is Lauren, and I'm a nurse. How can I help you?
Yeah.
And I'm in labor, and I'm like, well.
So she knew. She knew right away.
She knew right away, yes. And in my head, I was like, okay, it's about 5:45 now, and there's 5 o'clock traffic. Virginia Baptist is at least 30 more minutes. We've got to go if we're going to make it. Yeah. But I kindly just said, well, how can I help you? Have you call 911? And her boyfriend said yes, and they hand me the phone. So the dispatcher, so the dispatcher is like, I could hear the dispatcher. They had me on speaker, and so I said, I'm a nurse. Tell me what to do. And she's like, well, see what's going on. And so I kindly just offer my services, and the dispatcher, we set it up so the dispatcher was able to, I could hear her still. So we put her kind of on the car, and I'm just kindly I'm going to see what's going on and help you through this. And so when I realized where we are on the journey of giving birth, I said, okay, we've got to take some quick actions because I think we're having a baby now.
Oh, my goodness. So, okay, how are you feeling in that moment? You're coming from a really stressful-ish day. You're already out of sorts because, and I've been there. When the dog is in the car, you're waiting for the kids, things are running late. That's a lot to transition from. Yeah. So how are you feeling?
So I'm actually been told I have a really great poker face. I can be very nervous and stressed and anxious inside, but my face will not show it. So
that came in
I'm
handy.
hoping that I gave that picture when I was there.
Yeah.
I saw there was blankets in the car, so I was like, oh, we're going to use those for some privacy. And I just was like, okay, I've had a child. I understand the pain that she's going through at this moment. And now I have never delivered a child a day in my life. Nursing school, I witnessed it, but never did the actual action. But I was like, how hard can it be, I guess, at this point? Because we're going to have a baby no matter what, the way that the process was going.
Okay.
And so I said, just, hold the blankets up. And the dispatcher was like, I'm going to coach you through it. And so I said, let's just breathe. And when I'm nervous, I will joke, try to, liven it up.
Yeah,
so we were chit-chatting. And, I was trying to be like, what's your family like? Where are you from? What's your name? I don't know who you are.
What's your name? What an interesting question to ask someone that you are helping deliver a baby. By the way, what is your name?
And it was, it was I don't know, 3 minutes, which felt like eternity. She just said, I can't take it anymore. And at that moment, we had a baby.
Wow.
And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen because the baby was crying. And so not only was everything was going to be okay. I now just had to focus on, okay, is there an ambulance coming? Do I hear it yet? And what would happen if the baby was to go into stress? But none of that happened.
Wow.
And we just kind of hung out, I guess you could say, while we waited for the ambulance to arrive.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this moment that you just described because it's so much.
Mhm.
And like, what was happening around you all? Like, do you think anyone was aware?
I look back upon that, and
Uh-huh.
that was another God moment there too, because in the moment I had given privacy. My body was protecting her from anyone seeing. The way we parked, no one saw any direction that any cars came in at that
Wow.
Sheetz. It's busy. That Sheetz is crazy busy.
Yeah.
No one came over to help. And I'm okay with
Wow.
that. Like now
Yeah.
looking back, because that's an intimate moment that the world doesn't always have to see. And there just need to be mom and dad.
Yeah.
And luckily me to hold the baby and help
Mom,
out.
Dad, and hopefully a nurse nearby.
Yes, like, luck of the draw, I just happened to be there to catch the baby kind of deal. And
Wow.
her boyfriend got in the car and he gave her a hug and a kiss. And just that moment, I was just like, oh, this is so good. Like,
I love that you got to be a part
yes,
of that.
and we just kind of set tight. I mean,
Yeah.
she was hurting, and I know I had that child in the
Yeah.
moment of no medicine, unfortunately, either. So I could relate to the pain she was going through. But I was in a controlled environment, and she's not.
Yeah.
And so when people arrived, and then I think the best part was when we went to cut the umbilical cord, and her boyfriend looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, "Dude, you're doing this. We're in a parking lot. We've just delivered a baby together. You're gonna cut this cord, buddy."
I love it. I mean, and that's typically like a lot of dads get the opportunity to do that, and I love that was still a part of the process
Yep.
for them.
Oh yeah, it was great. EMS was phenomenal. The dispatcher, once they arrived, dispatcher hung up. I don't know who she was. She was phenomenal. She was so encouraging. I remember her even saying my name, "Lauren, you've got this. You're in control.
Wow.
You can do it." And I think at one point I know I can feel my leg was visibly shaking.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the nurse can't get nervous. Like, the family's already, like, nervous. I can't be nervous.
Yeah.
But I was shaking so hard. And I think that was when she said, "You got this." And so I was like, we do. We're going to do it.
Wow.
And so everything,
So,
all was well when they arrived. And they took her baby to the ambulance, took mom to the ambulance. And I got up and I walked to, I don't know, fireman, police officer. I don't remember who he was. And I just said, "Can I have some hand sanitizer?" And I just went in and washed my hands.
I'm ready to, yeah.
Yep. I washed my hands, got in my car, and I was just like, all right, time to go home.
Wow.
Yes.
So, not a normal day for you, not a part of your regular routine or responsibilities.
Mm-mm.
So, it's been about a week, 2 weeks at this point. Mom and baby are healthy, which is incredible to know, especially just there was nothing that lingered after, healthy baby, healthy mom. That's what
Yes.
everybody hopes
Yes.
for. And so that's incredible.
Yes.
So what do you take away from this?
I didn't, it was very, when I got home and and it was all over Facebook and the world knew who I was and everything, it was just like, to me, it's like, if I was not a nurse, I probably would have done the same thing because I do love people. I love to help them out. I didn't feel that at first I didn't feel like it was a different day. I just felt like, hey, 911 does it all the time, so I just happened to do it for them today. I did eat a lot of M&Ms that night to calm my nerves a little bit, I think, finally after a while.
I love it.
But my sister came over to talk to me, and she was just really excited that everything had gone so smoothly. And she reminded me, the beginning of the summer, I witnessed a really bad motorcycle wreck. It was, unfortunately, I couldn't administer life-saving measures. It was too bad of a sight. I was with the gentleman as he took his last breath.
My goodness.
But I was with the baby as they brought their first breath of life. So a full circle, all came to it's all what God needs you to do, and you just have to be the faithful follower, and that's what I am. And so it was really that kind of helped me. Okay, it was all worked out that right way.
Yeah, that's incredible. You were there in that moment on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's always interesting to me the things that you just think are happenstance or things will work out the way they work out, and there's a unique timeline. There is just supernatural things out of our control. So I am so thankful that you were there. So have you been in contact with the mother since this all happened?
Yes. We actually connected through Facebook. And then the Friday before she was going to go home, I messaged her and I said, "Are you up for a visitor?" And she was like, "I can't wait to see you." And so I got to go love on the baby, and it was just a beautiful moment. I could stay there all day long with the little sweet thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was probably really encouraging for her to see someone who was with her in probably one of the biggest moments of her life
Mhm.
and baby's life.
Mhm.
And so to make that connection, because I imagine you weren't able to maybe like, let's exchange
Right.
information as you were being taken away.
Yes. Yes, even after when I left, I honestly, if someone had asked who she was, I would not have known. In the moment,
Yeah.
I don't think I would remember her name.
Yeah.
And I actually that night, before I even got to connect with some of her family on
Mhm.
Facebook, I was going to bed and not knowing her name, but just knowing I did the right thing.
Absolutely.
And but luckily I did get to connect with them, and
Yeah.
so I waited. I didn't want to be pushy. This is her moment. This is all
Yeah.
about mom and dad and sweet little baby. And so
Yeah.
but then I was like, I gotta like go love on her. So
Yes,
just
absolutely.
meeting them, and they're just the sweetest. And I they have a beautiful family, and
Yeah.
so I know that we'll stay connected. We have a little
Yeah.
bit of some history together now. So
Absolutely. Well, and I love how, you shared in the beginning one of the reasons that you became a nurse is because you love helping people. And it doesn't matter at all who it is. And that's
mhm.
such a testament to who you are in that moment. You immediately stepped out of your comfort zone because you were already down here, not really like hoping to engage with anybody. And so that speaks to why you became a nurse and why you are the one who got to be there to be a part of this
Yes.
moment. So
Yes.
I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming on
Thank
and
you
for
for having me.
sharing that part of this story. And thank you all for joining us. I'm a little emotional. I'm trying to be very careful, but it's a beautiful story. And I love that you got to be a part of it. And I love that our caregivers can see that kind of heart that's shared among our nursing staff and our providers and just, you know, the people who we get to work shoulder to shoulder here with at Centra. So thanks for joining us again today on Centra Scripts, and we will see you next time.